now have the pleasure to introduce Dr. Philip Knight, who we have had the honor to work with over the past year on a very meaningful cause. Dr. Knight is from the Food Bank Council of Michigan, which has been instrumental to MMPA's donation of milk to families across Michigan. But before Dr. Knight says his remarks, I want to give you some background on why we are honored that he has joined us today. MMPA is a strong, successful cooperative, which relies on holding true to the 7 cooperative principles. The 7th principle is concern for community. It is important we help develop and sustain our local communities. Well, over this last year, we have expanded beyond our commitment to that principle by ensuring more families have access to nutritious dairy products they need. In June last year, we saw there was a gap in childhood nutrition as kids out of school for the summer. There are 727,000 children in Michigan who do not know where their next meal is coming from when they're not in school in the summer months. Milk is a very important product in the childhood development, but some kids only receive milk when they're in school. Further, milk is one of the most highly requested food bank items. Therefore, we did our part by donating 22,700 gallons of milk to the Food Bank Council of Michigan to distribute statewide. The Food Bank Council recognized MMPA this fall with the Hunger Free Michigan Award in the Michigan Harvest Gathering campaign. Pictured here is our Vice President, Mark Halbert, along with Attorney General Bill Schuette and Dr. Knight. Yet our work serving the 7th cooperative principle didn't end in 2015. When news of the Flint water crisis broke, we were immediately disheartened to know how contaminated water impacts families living within the city. MSU Extension brought our attention to the role calcium plays in fighting the effects of lead poisoning. And so, in January, we quickly jumped into action, and within 96 hours, MMPA, in partnership with Kroger and Quickway Transportation, delivered 12,000 gallons of milk to the Food Bank Council of Eastern Michigan in Flint for distribution to Flint residents. And just last week, we teamed up with Kroger once again to donate an additional 12,000 gallons of milk on National Ag Day. UDIM provided a grant this time to help cover the transportation cost and also provided educational materials on the role of milk as a part of a healthy diet. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Kroger for their partnership on this project. And I believe we have several representatives of Kroger with us today. Would you please stand and be recognized and thanked? And our donation would not have been possible without the great work of the Food Bank Council of Michigan, of which Dr. Knight is Executive Director. The Council is a statewide nonprofit organization that provides leadership to food banks and improves access to nutritious food for over 1.6 million Michiganders. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Phil Knight to the stage.
Well, good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to be here with you. Allow me to be just candid for a moment here. Not long ago, I was in this room, and I was sharing with another association, and the topic of milk came up. And the speaker who was right before me, how shall I say this, was a bit disparaging about the benefits of milk. I had the opportunity and the responsibility to follow him after he spoke. You know, as a speaker, you just relish those Hall of Fame moments that you get. So needless to say that he did not last long, and I don't think his parking was validated when he left. And it was a privilege. Thank you so much for those great words, but really those words, thank you, don't weigh enough. They simply don't weigh enough for the work that you do and the benefits that comes to particularly children in Michigan. We know that, as we shared just a moment ago, that 22% of the children in Michigan are food insecure, and they don't know where their next meal is coming from today. And as we talked about in summer, that crisis becomes worse. So we talk a lot about the next generation and how we need to invest in them. And then, you know, there's some people who put their money where their mouth is, and then there's others who put their milk where children who need it. And I want to just say to you, and I hope you feel this as the way exactly how I mean it. I want to say to you, thank you. Thank you on behalf of the children and on behalf of the future of Michigan. Your donations that you just saw highlighted there makes a tremendous difference, not only in what a child will have to eat today and drink today and the nourishment that they will receive, but it has a direct correlation, a direct impact on the future of our state. And your investment and belief and trust in us allows us to be able to distribute that milk and have all of the benefits that comes with it. So I want to just simply say thank you, and then I want to try to encourage you to continue to partner with us. Continue. Come alongside of us as you've done in Flint. And I understand the governor was here earlier and said thank you. And I want to echo that and say thank you as well. But let me see if I can give you just one good reason why we need you to continue to partner with us. And that is simply this. There was a gentleman, his name was Edmund Burke. You probably know that name, and when I say the quote that Edmund said, you'll recognize the quote. This was a gentleman who was in the British Parliament, who had a vision that he could abolish slavery across the entire empire. And so he said, 17 years in a row, he presented legislation to the Parliament to abolish slavery. And he said this, all that is necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. All that is necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. For 17 years, he introduced legislation. And on the 17th year, the legislation was finally voted and passed, and slavery was abolished throughout the British Empire. Edmund Burke resigned upon the completion of that legislation, 17 years. And after his resignation, he said, the biggest mistake that any of us ever make is when we choose to do nothing because we only believe that we can do a little. So no matter how much you may do or how little you may do, it all makes a difference in the future of our state and particularly in the future of our children. If you and I can continue to partner and you and I can continue to bring the people alongside of us that we need, I'm convinced, and this may sound a little strange or a little crazy to you, but I'm convinced that hunger can be replaced with nutrition, and hunger's days are numbered in our state. I believe that. Now, some of y'all are just looking at me like a Missouri mule looks at a new gate. I believe it. And here's why I believe it. Not only because of the moral reason, because all that is necessary for evil to triumph is for good people to do nothing. In fact, I believe the opposite. I believe hunger can be replaced with nutrition in our state because of people like you. I'm convinced of it, and I'm going to continue to give my life for it. So the last thing I would say to you, other than just to echo another thank you, is to say this, a deep philosophical thought. The next time that you see a turtle on top of a fence post, you'll know he didn't get there by himself. Well, some of y'all are a little slow, but you're worth the wait there. So I have to just simply say, would you do me a favor, and could I ask you to stand? Stand right up right there in your seat. And here's what I'd like for you to do. I'd like for you to give yourselves a round of applause, just as a way I can show some level of appreciation to you for trusting us and believing in the children of Michigan. Thank you.
I'm not going to let you leave the stage, Phil,
Thank you.
because I have some anecdotes to share with you. When we gave that milk to Flint, we still had some local annual meetings left,
Right.
and it hadn't been out in the press yet, and the one I did was in Adrian, and I announced it there that we were doing that, and nobody said anything. They
Right.
just gave us a round of applause.
Wow.
Everybody is just so happy that they're able to help. And I've had comments from other members who said, that's great, can we do more? We are doing more. It's with great honor that I am announcing today, at this moment, that in honor of our 100th anniversary, we are going to contribute 100 gallons of milk per day for an entire year to the Food Bank Council of Michigan. You're very welcome.
Wow. I did not know that was coming at all. So now I'm going through distribution computation. And I'm thankful that I'm here for the 100th anniversary and not the 200th anniversary. So, I don't know what to say. Thank you. Thank you very much.